Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Just finished a workout.
Nice.
Feel sufficiently worked.
That's awesome. What does this workout entail?
It's all just strength stuff. So it's under the supervision of a trainer and basically achieving muscle failure on a variety of different machines. It's always a full body workout. So
Cool.
yes.
You've been at this for a while now, right?
Yeah, I think around 3 years now.
Really?
So yeah.
With the same trainer?
It's like a small gym, and I've actually hopped through a few different locations. I moved twice over the last 3 years, and so they have a couple different spots, but it's basically they have a kind of a team of trainers, and I usually end up working with one consistently, but sometimes another one has to fill in or whatever. So you end up kind of getting to know everybody there.
In my mind, you just started this like a couple months ago.
Oh no, yeah, this has been going on for a while.
Nice.
Yep.
Good for you. How do you stick with a fitness habit that long?
I mean, honestly, I think the biggest thing that's worked for me is having a paid subscription to this thing. So it's like auto build and auto scheduled basically. And so every time I go in, it's like, all right, we got you down for Tuesday and Friday next week. And it's like, yep, you do. And then that's like just enough, having some skin in the game, I guess, and not just relying on my own willpower to wake up in the morning and go at a certain time.
Totally. Yeah.
Kind of does the trick for me.
How's your progress been?
It's been good. I mean, so when I first started it was shortly after I left Drip, and it was sort of a stressful time, and I was spending, a lot of hours at the office and not paying that much attention to my own health. And so I had probably 15, 20 extra pounds on me, and I was just felt weak and all of that. So I saw pretty quick progress over the first 6 months of doing it, where I kind of got metrics back closer to where they should be. And then it's just been kind of incremental improvement over time. They set up a workout card for you, and then you do it for 3 or 4 months, depending on how many sessions you end up doing. And then there's always a progress assessment. So things are always kind of moving in the right direction, but it is very small and incremental at a certain point, once you kind of got the big gains out of the way.
Totally. Yeah. I feel like I would have a hard time staying motivated through that period.
Yeah. I can feel it, it's like the first 80 to 90% is definitely more noticeable, but now I can still feel, it's very subtle body changes still, but feel stronger. And I can feel it when I'm, cycling or something, coming into it out of winter. I definitely feel in a better position than I have in years past, to go do long bike rides and stuff.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah.
So people may notice that the podcast is coming out on Wednesdays now.
Yeah, first time changing up the schedule date. Why did we do that, Ben?
We did it because I commented on one of the recent shows, I never get a chance to listen to the podcast before it comes out, before we record again. And so I don't remember what we talked about. And Joel texted me and was like, why don't you just have them release it one day earlier? And I was like, oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's like, don't you have some say over that?
Yeah, exactly. We just...
Yeah.
Yep. Just blindness around possible changes. So we asked Podcast Motor to start releasing this on Wednesday, and so now we can listen to it before we record.
Mm-hmm.
Which good. I did this week.
Nice.
And I remember it better.
Uh-huh.
I remember all of it, but
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. We got some good feedback about last week's episode.
Oh, did we? That's right. Yeah, I saw that. Yep.
Yeah, some people commenting on Twitter and stuff. I think the feature deep dive was fun to listen to, and that was fun to do, actually.
Yeah, it was fun to listen to after the fact too, actually.
Yeah, I still need to actually listen to it. I haven't yet, but
yeah, I think we got some good stuff. We had some good discussion, and I want to actually turn that into notes because I think we hit on a couple good ideas in there that I liked.
Yeah, we should do more of that.
I agree. Yeah. For sure. It was useful for me to bounce it off you, and we both are kind of product-y people, so we may as well take advantage of this.
Yep, totally.
Yeah. Also, I was on, or at least I recorded an episode of Indie Hackers last week, which will be coming out soonish, I think. Some number of days. It actually may be out by the time this is out.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah, that was good. Went super personal. It was interesting. Cortland and I started talking about our dating lives. And
I saw you tweet about that. I chuckled about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing I've been realizing is I am a single person and trying to find a life partner. And I I don't talk about that publicly almost at all. Like, despite the fact that I have like a podcast with thousands of listeners and a bunch of Twitter followers and a mailing list, and it's like, oh yeah,
certainly
like,
there's some ladies out there in the podcast listenership.
Yeah, exactly. Or like people who have friends that are ladies or whatever. Like, if you look at the secondary connections, it's even more people. So yeah, I've sort of resolved to start talking about this more often and like just tell people like, yo, I'm into being introed to awesome friends of yours. So please do that. But yeah, it was a super fun podcast. Cortland and I have like become friends, and like it was kind of less of like, welcome to the Indie Hackers podcast, where I'm going to interview a person and get to know what makes them tick or something. It was more like Cortland and I were kind of just chatting.
And that makes the best kind of podcast audio, I feel like, when there's true rapport there.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
That's good.
Yeah, if you couldn't tell, we're into the two friends talking about things podcast format.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We might be interested in doing that ourselves. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's actually been a tough couple weeks work-wise. There's some stuff that like is like kind of sensitive, so I don't quite want to talk about it publicly. But there have been a few kind of bumps in the road over the last couple of weeks. I've definitely been much more on the stressed side than usual about it. So I've been trying to think like what are good things to get through this and deal with it and all that. I think I'm starting to turn the corner on it. One thing I did is I actually came to my parents' house for the last couple of days. Joel's out of town, so I was like, I'm going to go work from my parents' place, and I'm actually taking the rest of today off after we finish recording. It's supposed to be really warm and nice. I don't want to get too much into the specifics, but I did want to kind of just mention that because I think we talk about the good stuff quite a bit, and we've always also resolved to talk about the bad stuff. So without getting too specific, I can say it's been a little bit of a rough start to like April and March.
Yeah. No, I appreciate your honesty and sharing that. And like, has this happened before in the tuple journey, like this kind of season, I guess? Or is this kind of the first time?
It's not quite the first time. There have been some challenges. I would say this is like a little bit of a lower point than normal. Maybe the lowest so far for me personally, I guess. I mean, I do realize that like overall we've been like super lucky in that like it hasn't felt like people talk about how hard startups are, like what a grind it is and how miserable it is. And it's been hard, but it hasn't felt miserable. Like it's always been like, yeah, this is a challenge, but I'm enjoying the challenge. This has been kind of the first time where it's like, this challenge kind of sucks these last couple of weeks. But honestly, like I'm trying to like average everything together and be like, yeah, it's hard right now, but like you're going to have days like these or weeks like these.
Right. Do you feel like part of the coping mechanism is to just like step back and kind of take stock of the bigger picture and recognize that like, is it kind of for you about like right sizing the actual like scope of the problem and like, okay, this is crappy to deal with, but it's like not, it's not business ending. Has that kind of been part of your exercise?
That helps. Yeah. I'm definitely kind of like a catastrophizer, as they call it in the psychology world, where it's like, oh, like this bad thing means these next 4 bad things are going to happen too. Or like I will kind of assume like, oh, something is bad today. Well, therefore it's going to be bad forever. So how can I deal with the fact that this is always going to be bad? And so I'm trying to be like, no, this thing is recoverable over here. And like, this thing sucks, but it won't suck forever. And just like kind of focus on like, just got to keep going. Like put the, left foot, right foot, keep going. Eventually it's not going to feel so crappy.
Yeah. Yeah. Has it helped having co-founders through this?
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, it helps for sure. I literally couldn't and wouldn't do this sort of thing alone. It would not work. So in the deepest sense, it's helped having co-founders because it went from effectively impossible to possible. We had a good chat the other day. Like we went climbing and I was kind of just like, yeah, this was like yesterday, like sucked super hard for me. And like this thing was rough and like I could use support over here and whatnot. So that makes a big difference for sure. Leaning on other people definitely helps me for these kind of things.
Having people in your corner is, I think probably doesn't come as a surprise to most people that's a huge thing. And like, yeah, since I am doing the crazy undertaking of like not technically having co-founders, definitely like grabbing a drink with Rob or having a call with my mastermind group, like makes a huge difference. And I think that's something for everyone who's, indie hacking or whatever, and like trying to get something off the ground or trying to grow something even like, yeah, don't try to go it alone. It's definitely a big pro tip.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny, like when things are tough, it makes the like 4-hour work week step away from the business style kind of thing more appealing, of course. I just had this shower thought, which is like, wait a minute, like I could stop working on this and I still own all of the shares that I have. And like, if there was someone else that had to run this and deal with these problems, like I could just not and cash the checks. That's like, I don't actually want to do that right now. But it was kind of a nice reminder that like, we could build towards a world where we're like positive additions to the company, but don't have to be there every day. I think the tricky thing about this is just like, and we've talked about this with like competition, is like, there's no like stable, everything's just going to be okay for now on company configuration, right? It's like, you're kind of always responding to outside threats, issues, problems, demands. If you eventually want to break from that, you have to do something. You can't just be like, okay, no, like we're gonna grow to X and then just chill. It's like, well, you kind of can't really do that, I think.
Yeah, businesses just can't be static. I mean, it's just by nature, a business is not a static thing, right?
Yeah. Part of my brain wants to like set a revenue goal and then be like, all right, after this, we don't care if we make any more money. So like, don't think about growth after that. Just think about, enjoyment or something, or like what else could you optimize for if not revenue or something. I don't know that would work. That might not give you like, if the market starts demanding other things and you're just like, we don't want to build that because it doesn't sound fun. Eventually maybe your position is eroded and whatnot, or your customers leave. But there is something in that appeals to me, which is just like setting an enough number and then being like, okay, starting now, we're not going to think about, care about the revenue or growth side of the business. We're going to think about the other things that we care about, like what's fun here and what do we like to do.
It requires a very mature sense about what you're actually optimizing for, which I think a lot of us we hold this in our heads that we're choosing our own path. We're bootstrapping companies because we want to have ownership in something that is decoupled from the time we put into it, so that we can have time to live fulfilling lives and invest in areas that we really care about. And that's not always our businesses, right? We have lives outside of business, and that's like an ideal state of things. But then, I mean, I definitely feel like it's so hard. The gravitational pull of like getting too focused on just relentlessly optimizing MRR or business metrics, like the allure of that is so strong. Mm-hmm. And I'm like trying to figure out what that point is for me. Like right now I have this strong sense of urgency to get to like true profitability, where it's like I'm paying myself comfortably, that actually like satisfies my own personal lifestyle. I can pay my rent and all that kind of stuff, and then have some margin to make investments in growing the business, but not have to overstretch myself and constantly be in a state where like it's not sustainable. But I have a feeling like once I cross that threshold, there's just going to be a strong pull to like grow, even though we talk about how that's like, we don't necessarily raise venture capital because it's like grow times 10 or times 100 is the mandate. And we don't like that mandate, but still like bootstrappers still feel that pull, It's hard not to.
It is. I mean, it's just like it plugs too neatly into your brain structures, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like I think it's going to be super hard not to fall into that trap. You'd have to like really, really fight it.
And when things are going well, business feels like a really fun game where there's like real dollars coming out the other side of it, right? And that's very intoxicating. But then when it's not going well, then you realize like, oh, maybe I've put too much of my own personal well-being and happiness into like this thing that's really just a game where we're putting effort in and seeing how many dollars we could get out the other side,
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's no like dashboard for like happiness. It's like very easy to go check, barometrics and be like, okay, we are X% up over last month, and yesterday our MRR changed by this many dollars down to the cents. But it's like, how happy are you and your co-founders? Like, are your employees feeling satisfied? Like, there's, you can make this dashboard or something like it, but it's not the easy one.
Like a daily journal where you give yourself a score or something, and then you plot that. I don't know. Maybe that's too new agey, personal happiness hacking, but I don't know. It could be interesting.
Seems worth
to index
considering.
those two against each other.
It might also be like, for me, like that kind of thing might be useful because like, okay, I'm going through a rough patch right now. But if I look back on the last 6 months, look how much, positive days there are. So, okay, fine. Like, you're dealing with this now, but that's clearly the overall is good. What do you think the end state for you is in SavvyCal?
I still fear, like, if I were to start growing a team, for example, if you're effective at your job and you're successful and you have a team, your team naturally wants to grow. Like it just you naturally have more needs and you need to fill in more people, and before you know it, like you're in charge of a ever growing pool of staff. And I've been hearing a lot of founders talk about, like I think Rand Fishkin has talked about it quite a bit with Moz. Obviously it grew to a very large company, $20 million company, revenue, whatever, and a decently sized team. And like, as the head of that, he became kind of consumed with like just dealing with personnel things. And it got to the state where there's always somebody who was, underperforming and needed to be coached or whatever, or just managerial HR type of issues. And that's something that I really feel like that amount of complexity and that type of work doesn't appeal to me. And that might constrain what I'm ultimately able to do growing the business, because, how far can you really take a company without growing a large team? I don't know. But I'm pretty intrigued by this like idea of intentionally staying very small, working with, contractors as much as possible and seeing what we can do. But I don't know if that's short-sighted or if that's like, painting myself into this kind of corner of like always having to have a job at the company as opposed to like working, quote unquote, on the business, Yeah.
I mean, but no matter what you're working, you're either like contributing yourself or you're managing the people that are working.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would be really hard to get, although like, it doesn't have to be that way, I guess. You could kind of hire people to take over more and more of your work.
Right.
Like that would be an interesting dashboard. Like how much work do I personally have to do? Like what's my responsibility list and how many hours does that take? And like, can I track that over time? That might be an interesting metric.
Yeah. But I think for me, like if I, in 5 years, if the business is profitable and I'm comfortable and I'm still getting to wake up in the morning and bite off a really interesting feature in the product and build it and feel the satisfaction of like creating something out of nothing. I mean, that's what truly gives me, satisfaction. And if I can be working with people like Corey, who like, his wheels are spinning on some new like marketing campaign that we're fleshing out, and like that's his area of responsibility and I get to contribute, but it's not my primary focus. Like I think I will be happy with that,
Mm-hmm. Sounds pretty good.
So I think that's the goal. It's like, how can I stay an individual contributor in the areas that I actually really love and that really gives me a lot of satisfaction.
Yeah, that was one of my conclusions from retreat this quarter. Was like the things I really enjoy are like figuring out what to build, talking to customers, shaping a feature, figuring out the little UX details, and then like seeing it go live. I've been kind of like delegating more and more of that. And I was like, no, I want it. That's what I want to do. Like, let me do that. I'm going to do that. It feels important to know. I was listening to Jason Fried on 20VC the other day, and he was like very upfront about, he said something like, he likes doing what I just talked about. Like he's like, I like building product. I love, doing product things. He goes, I really don't like managing a team of 60 people. I do it because I kind of have to, but I've never liked it and I don't like it. And I was just like, well, that's very honest of him. I can kind of get that. It's like, it seems like to him, it feels like a necessary evil. Like to do the scale of things they want, they need a team of a certain size. And so that someone has to manage it. But yeah, it is interesting. I mean, I know other people who have hired CEOs to like take over that part of the business, or like, to take over those responsibilities. And I sort of understand that. I think we should talk to Paul Jarvis about that enough concept. I think. I feel like he seems better at this than almost anybody I know. Where he seems to be very clear about what he wants to optimize for, and like do it pretty intentionally. And it's not just the default answers. Right.
No. Yeah. He did write the book on it, right?
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what else? What's going on with you? How's SavvyCal?
Yeah, SavvyCal's good. I mean, it's been an interesting start to the month, because just like looking at the metrics, which I'm trying not to be a slave to my metrics, but I do check them a lot.
How many times do you check your metrics? Your revenue metrics?
Probably like twice a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those are rookie numbers.
Are they?
At least for me. I'm definitely more than twice a day, which is stupid because it doesn't doesn't matter. Even once a day doesn't matter. Even once a week would be fine. Even that's probably too much.
Yeah, probably. And I did a really dumb thing yesterday. I opened up Stripe and I was like just perusing through. I was trying to get a sense for the trial pipeline and how it's changing over time. And I was just scrolling through a customer list and seeing like, on each page, there was like one or two customers that were like set to cancel at the end of the period. And I just got like really agitated doing that. Mm-hmm. And that's not healthy at all, because ultimately like I think it's healthiest to be just focusing at the top level at like, what are the high level metrics of the business? Like the funnel, how's the funnel operating? And if there's a metric that's bad at a certain point in the funnel for long enough, then you invest time into making that better. It's never helpful, I don't think, to go too deep on like just looking through individual accounts that are canceling. You need to think of the business. It's helpful if you're in the frame of like, I'm going to reach out to people and try to have conversations and learn like qualitatively why they're canceling. But if you're just in the mindset of like trying to get a lay of the land for metrics, like doing that is probably not super productive, and
there will always be things in there to stress you out.
Yeah, exactly. So it was just like a thing that like I knew the numbers already and that was enough. But then just to go in and like see individual line items of customers with a canceling soon flag on them was just like extra negativity that didn't serve any purpose at all. And so I kind of kicked myself for doing that. But like, yeah, it's been a weird like start of the month, headed into a weekend, like, and so there are fewer trials converting over the weekend just by nature of people not signing up. And so like I had some churn at the beginning of the month and then the weekend hit. And so I'm just like looking at the month graph in ProfitWell, and it's just like, it's like a plane starting to take off and then the plane crashes back into the ground because there's some churn and there's not many trials converting. Now it's like slowly coming back up, but it's like, ProfitWell emails like you're 25% behind your goal. And that's where I kind of want to like, I've had that email, that like little digest email on for a while, but I think I need to turn that off. Again, if it's not serving a purpose, if it's not actually an actionable thing, then it's probably not worth seeing, it's just a distraction.
I feel like I need to start a support group for people who want to not check their metrics so often.
Yeah.
It's the don't check your metrics group. And all we do is like not check our metrics.
We all throw our credentials for our Barometrics accounts or ProfitWell accounts into a basket, and we like we only let each other log in every once in a while or something.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man! Also, like now since we have a lot of customers, we have like a lot of failed charges. That's another thing that gets to me is like we have how many thousands of dollars in outstanding invoices? Like it's like scary numbers. It's like, oh my God. And then it's like, yeah, that always gets me riled up.
I don't know if you've used ProfitWell at all, but I did turn on their retain product about a week ago. And it's seeming to work pretty well. Like there have been some accounts that have been delinquent or just past due floating around for a while. And once I finally got that activated, there were like, I don't know, 10 of them recovered or something within the first couple of days. I was like, oh, I should have done this a lot sooner.
Yeah. We use Churn Buster currently for that kind of thing. And it mostly works, but then sometimes it doesn't. It's like, okay, now this account is in an unpaid state and like, seemed like they liked it. What happened here? Like, we should dig into this. We should go contact these people. We should figure this out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your like following up with people who, I guess, voluntarily churn, who cancel? What does that look like for you right now?
Do
you have an automated email question or anything?
No.
Okay.
For a while, we had an automated like cancellation feedback kind of thing going on. And I wasn't finding a ton of value from it, oddly. It seemed like the cancellation reasons were like, oh, like we didn't get our round of funding, or like, oh, we're cutting back on expenses or something. Like it wasn't like you're missing XYZ so much. I'd like to get back to that and just like make sure those see again, check again, see what's going on. But yeah, nothing right now.
Yeah. I feel like I kind of have a growing blind spot in that. And I added an email that added this like a month, 2 months ago or something, that sends if people cancel. As soon as they cancel, like within a couple hours or something, it shoots them an email. Should be like, I feel like it's a pretty well written email that's like not aggressive or like, why are you canceling? It's like, it has a good tone to it, but very few people respond to it. And So I feel like the responses I am getting is like, well, it's definitely not a representative sample because there's all this like sampling bias in who actually does respond,
Yeah.
So
Yep.
that's a big part of like doing these, like running these SaaS companies is like trying to get a real representative lay of the land can be really tricky because people generally don't respond to things. Like a very small percentage will respond to questions in onboarding emails or,
Right.
Post cancellation feedback emails, and
Totally.
So
yeah, there's not a lot of incentive to people to give you feedback.
no,
You want it; it's useful for you, but it's not that helpful for them generally.
right. But other than that, kind of just dealing with mental stuff at the beginning of the month, still growing a bit, and I'm very stoked to be about ready to like publicly launch the Outlook integration. So it's soft launched right now.
I saw that. I went to log in and saw I could sign in with my Outlook or
Microsoft
something, or my
account.
Microsoft account. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had it behind a flag for a while and was just enabling it by request for people. And then, wasn't hearing like things. It was just seeming to work. Like people connected it and their events appeared and it blocked their availability and did all the things. So I just decided like, okay, I'm gonna inch it a little bit further and like just open it up softly and obviously watch for errors and reports of weirdness happening, but like kind of just released that feature flag. So it's there now, and now I just need to like coordinate a little launch, talk it through with Corey, figure out like what the making the big splash is going to look like for this one. But yeah, it's time to get that fully announced.
Cool. Nice.
Yep.
I love that like lots of little launches idea.
Mm-hmm.
It's really nice.
Yeah,
we could do better with that, I think.
Turning features into marketable events.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
And having someone whose job that is.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds nice.
Yep. So we're experimenting with, started running some podcast ads. Right now we're on the Upside podcast and Creative Elements. Too early to tell, I think, for results. I have like some landing pages set up for those that have a coupon code, and that gets mentioned in the ad read. Just like a couple of people have redeemed that code. It's tough to tell, and I knew this would be the case with podcast ads. Like, part of it is just like, kind of building brand awareness, which takes some time to show ROI, and so we're going to be doing our best to try to gauge that. And I think adding like a question to our onboarding survey, which I plan to do this next week, that's just like, hey, how'd you hear about us? Why'd you sign up? Making that a required step of onboarding. Hopefully not. Hopefully people don't feel like it's too obtrusive, and certainly some people will just put nonsense characters in there. But hopefully most people will actually give me a small hint at least as to how they heard about us.
Nice.
So we'll see how that plays out.
It's cool to be running those experiments.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And we got a couple more in the hopper for this month too that we'll be able to talk about in the next couple of weeks probably.
Nice.
Yeah.
What do you do with good Twitter threads?
Like ones that I see or ones that
I keep finding these like good threads and like, this is good information. I like this. Like I want to come back to this or like remember this or think about this in the future. Do you have a strategy for that?
I mean, I've been using the bookmarking feature of Twitter, but I'll admit that that's basically like my prior attempts to use like Pocket and these other like archival bookmarking tools, which is that I bookmark it and then I almost never end up looking at it. Sometimes I will, like, this has happened a couple times where it's like, oh, you know what? 3 months ago, I saw this thread from this person about this thing. And then I like went back and found it. And the bookmarks feature of Twitter has been helpful because it's less noisy than my likes. Like if I've just tried to search back through tweets that I've liked, like I end up liking a lot of things. So it's difficult to find. But no, I don't have a great system for it.
Yeah, it's tricky.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of good knowledge out there and it's hard to like hang on to it.
Are you still using Roam?
I am. So I've been experimenting with like just dropping links to them under like new notes with like a topic like how to have fewer meetings or whatever the topic the thing is about. But how do you go find that later? Or like, unless I'm like, I want to read about meetings and like search for my notes on it. It's like, this is probably not just going to come up. I still feel like I need spaced repetition for knowledge I want to install in my head that's easily dumped into from the browser.
Right. Because something like that, so you read a thread like that, and if you could just commit to memory some of the like key rules of thumb or whatever, like the pro tips from that, like if that was just infused in your head,
right,
that would be ideal. So you didn't have to like go back and read it later. Like if it was resurfaced to you enough times where you memorized it, basically.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Then you wouldn't. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, there's just
next startup.
Yeah, maybe. Sounds a little bit like a consumer app nightmare. Like you're competing with like free Anki. I don't know. I think there's something there. Rome has some sort of like show me this again later feature that I should look into. I'm getting a little bit like burned out on their UI UX situation.
I take it hasn't changed much.
I get an email like from them every week or two where they're like, we added this new crazy advanced feature or like this new quality of life thing. And I'm like, but like the keyboard shortcuts still annoy the crap out of me. Or like I can type faster than this search box allows. Or like, and like, does it still have to be so ugly? I don't know. Maybe it's not for me, but now I have all these notes.
Yeah. Do you feel vendor locked in at this point, or can you export them, or what is that?
I'm sure you can. I don't know. Maybe I just need to burn them all out. Maybe they're not even useful. Maybe I've just been hoarding notes that don't actually have value. See, I don't want notes. I want facts in my head. I think that's the problem. I think I need to be able to dump a new thing into an inbox that I later come back and turn into cards, which maybe it helps you do that intelligently, and then add them to a spaced repetition system that I can do on my phone instead of browsing Twitter.
Yeah. That's pretty interesting. Like if you were to dump something, because there are things that I see a lot of, on a daily basis, and it's like, ooh, I want to remember that for later. And then probably if it was shown to me like a week later, it'd be, if something was like, hey, is this still important? Or do you feel like you're good on this? And there's probably a lot of things where I'd be like, nah, I'm good. And then it could just be like erased from the archive. And then other things are like, ooh, yeah, no, that's still good. And I still need to like internalize that. And so they're like two different modes, where it's like, yep, keep this around, or like, nope, I'm done with this one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense.
Because there's a strong sense of like fear of losing a piece of information that you think that might be valuable in the future. And so that's where I feel the instinct to like bookmark something or put it in a note or something like that. And that happens like viscerally at the moment that I see the thing. It's like, ooh, that might be helpful to me, and I don't have the time to think about whether it's important to archive, so I'm just going to archive it for now. But then later on, when I'm in a better mental space to make a decision about that, it'd be like, maybe there's a call I can make, like, nah, I don't really need that. Or
yeah, you could just excise it from the system. Just be like, yeah, I thought I wanted to remember this, but I don't. Just kill this card. Totally. I don't know. Could be interesting. Maybe I'm inventing products that I wouldn't actually use, though. I feel like that's very easy to do.
Yeah, I mean that would be a very aspirational product. A lot of people would aspire to use it, and then only a certain percentage of people would actually do it.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think spaced repetition is like such a powerful tool that more people should be using. So it does feel like a aspirational thing, but also it's like, yes, but it actually is really good. Like I do think it has the power to like make my life better. So I don't know, building something there kind of sounds a little fun.
If we could get Bill Gates on this podcast, do you think you can make that happen?
Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Is he's the shortest path to a new app?
No. I would want to ask him a question, and maybe he's answered this elsewhere. But like, I remember watching his documentary, the one about him, and the man just like takes a crate full of books anywhere he goes. Like if he's going to go somewhere on a weekend, he takes like 10 books and he like power reads them all. And like, what's his knowledge archival system? Is he just lots of consumption and like assuming that important stuff will stick, and he's just really smart, so like a lot of it sticks? Or like, I don't know, I wonder what his actual system is for like retaining important knowledge.
It's a good question. I have the sense that like if you do take in a lot and read a lot and think a lot, it probably the retention is maybe not so important. Like you've let it kind of wash over you. You've let it form some light neural pathways that maybe get re-triggered again later. Maybe he has amazing recall. Maybe he's just like, he's great at just keeping that information without coming back to it.
Savant of some kind. Yeah. I mean, it sort of reminds me too of the 37 Signals Basecamp thing that they talked about early on, which is like, we don't write down any feature requests. We just, as they come through, we hear them. I'm always too afraid to treat feature requests that way. How do you treat them, by the way? Like, do you write them all down?
No. No. We track a little bit of them. We've done some surveys around them. So sometimes we get a little more systematic where we like record some or throw out like a list of 10 and say, which of these sound most interesting to you? Mostly I kind of just pay attention. I'm with 37 Signals on some of that, or Basecamp on some of that stuff. Like, I think a backlog is kind of not that useful. Like, it's just so much easier to generate backlog items than it is to actually do anything about them. So like, you will always basically have an ever-growing backlog. And it's like, yeah, the fact that somebody reported a bug once, or that one time we thought we should do this thing or fix this thing or add this, is like, it's just not that interesting. And it's kind of, yeah. But anyway, so I'm sort of I sort of naturally agree with their, like, you don't need to write it down. You can kind of decide at the start of the next work cycle, hey, what's most important right now? Because the important stuff will be kind of obvious, it seems like. Mm-hmm. It'll be hard to ignore.
That's probably true. I mean, I feel a little bit of concern that like I don't totally trust my own recall to like remember. Like, there is a certain advantage to like getting on top of something really early before like the masses are really calling for it. But I guess that's part of just trying to have your product thinker hat on anytime you're processing a feature request. And
yeah, and like they talk about building stuff that no one asked for. So they're not just saying like, well, eventually we figure out what everyone wants, then we build that. Like they're also thinking sort of more laterally than that, which seems good too. If you've got this list of like, here are the stack ranked features that people have been asking for, maybe you have a hard time not working on the top one, but maybe the thing that no one's asking for is what makes your product different or sets it apart or causes a delightful experience or something like that.
Right. Yep.
Lots of ways to play the game.
For sure. That's the art. That's the art of it.
It's the art of product.
That's the art of product. Boom.
End of show.
Mic drop.
I'm getting out of here. I'm on vacation.
Yeah.
Notes of the show.
Notes of the show can be found on artofproductpodcast.com.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye.